Good morning.
Hey, Seattle.
As always, it's your girls, Jasmine and Shantae.
Welcome to another Thursday morning and another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tay.
We'll be bringing you lots of laughs and class to get you ready for the day and the weekend ahead.
Will it be the way or not the way? Find out and join the conversation.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tay. It's your girl, Jazz and
Shantae.
And we also have another very special guest with us this week to continue our Women's History Month celebration. We've got makeup artist Kendra Springer in studio. Say what's up, girl.
Hello, hello.
Yay. She's already bringing the energy, so I know today's going to be a good one. So let's give you a quick, so we run down?
Intro.
Yeah, that's right. Let's intro Kendra.
Intro away.
So Kendra is a Seattle-based professional conscious beauty makeup artist and one of the few in the area. She creates looks from natural and dewy to bold and colorful, all with non-toxic products. She previously was a MAC makeup artist and competed on American Beauty Star with Ashley Graham. Love her. Totally love her.
She's a gem.
So beautiful.
Isn't she? Yes.
That's gorgeous.
However, her diagnosis with endometriosis led her to switch to cleaner products, proving that you don't have to sacrifice your health for beauty. She currently coordinates makeup looks for fashion, beauty, editorial, bridal, and demonstrates a range of tutorials on her growing Instagram page. Recently, clean beauty has been linked to far-right thinking and conspiracy theories. So we'll talk to Kendra about this and why she uses the title Conscious Beauty and why that's important.
I love it.
I know, me too.
Yes.
So now that you guys know a little bit more about our guest, here's what you can expect in today's episode.
Yes.
Take it away.
So outside of interviewing Kendra about conscious beauty and all that fun stuff, we're also going to play an icebreaker as always. We're going to play Would You Rather today. It's going to be perfectly themed. Then we're going to interview Kendra. We're going to talk to her, of course, about conscious beauty. We're really going to kind of it's just going to be a full-length interview
we're
today.
kind of picking your brain. There's no real hot topic today because there's a lot to cover with you. So
Yes,
I'm excited.
we've actually talked to someone else about clean beauty, and we're really excited to kind of,
that's
with
true.
her, we
right,
talked
that's
about
true.
clean beauty.
Yes.
And so we're kind of new to this, but we also know a little bit, and so it's interesting to have you come on, and we're interested to talk about this clean versus conscious and what that's all about. So we are really excited to talk about that and to, give our listeners a taste, because I know when we started the clean beauty, sorry, I'm just going to say it until we
can
move
say
to
it. It's
conscious.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not taboo.
It's not a
kind of
taboo
like
word.
doing this
Yeah.
whole clean beauty journey.
Yes,
I know a lot of
yes.
our listeners were saying, wow, I didn't even know this was a thing,
Yeah.
or that it was something that I had to think about, which I think is kind of the point of the movement in and of itself. So again, I'm really excited to talk to you more about conscious beauty and to see some Black-owned brands and how the industry itself is kind of supporting inclusivity and all of that.
Yeah.
But
So important.
enough of the jib jab and the paperwork. Let's play an icebreaker.
Let's have some fun. I can't help it. Every time I hear the song, I dance. I always do
I
a
do,
little
this
jig.
little head
yeah.
or the twist,
Yeah.
feels right.
Okay, so we're gonna play a quick round of Would You Rather.
Okay.
So
I'm so nervous.
yeah, so again, it's gonna be kind of beauty like-minded.
Okay,
so
cool.
hopefully you're gonna have to make some tough calls here. Okay.
Okay.
Go with your gut.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Your gut.
I'm prepared.
Okay, so the first one is, would you rather have to go without lashes or brows?
Oh, lashes. I would rather go without
Very
lashes.
confident with the answer.
Right.
Yeah, that was so easy.
Brows just frame your face, so it's so important to have a solid brow.
You know,
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer. Wonderful answer.
Thank you, Benny.
we were talking about that last night. We were like, what would be really comparable? Because both make huge differences.
Such big differences.
But what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg? She doesn't
Yes.
have eyebrows.
no.
She doesn't have eyebrows.
I've learned
She
that
can get
not
away
too
with
long ago. I was like, you're right. For all the years we've seen
Right,
her
she just
in Sister
doesn't.
Act and then nothing.
That's so crazy. I watched all the Sister Acts during
Right.
quarantine.
Yeah.
And you're right, she has no brows.
None.
She hasn't tried
Yeah.
to tattoo
She's,
them.
No.
she's rare, ladies.
And here's the thing,
She's
it's
a rare,
like,
rare one.
I feel like she doesn't really grow hair. I don't think it was a call that she made. I think
Right.
she just
Yeah.
had very thin hair there and just kind of whatever.
Her personality is so far in front of her face.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what we're caught
exactly.
with. Yeah.
All right,
I
Shantae,
liked
next
that
one.
answer. Would you rather have a 5-year-old do your makeup, or oh wait, I skipped to the next one. Sorry. Or have your significant other do your makeup?
Ooh.
I would actually rather have Nate do my makeup because he pays attention to detail with makeup. It's really funny. Like after I do a look, he's like, "Are you wearing your number 48 lashes?" I'm like, "You are such a nerd at heart."
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
He
Way to
knows
go.
so
Good
much
job,
about
Nate.
makeup.
Way to
He
go.
loves
Good job,
it.
Nate.
So
That's actually
I
very
love that.
impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
I was
He
kind of
loves it.
thinking that would be the case. I'm
Yes.
like, I mean, if you do makeup, I feel like he probably sits around and watches and
Yeah.
right.
is
With-
picking
Picks a few
something
things up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
sure.
he's creative as
Yeah.
well. So I'm like,
Oh.
not that he could draw necessarily, but I think he could do it. We should do it.
You, like,
We should
walk
do
I
by-
it
was just
now.
gonna say, you
Let's
guys should do
it.
like a video.
Nate,
Like
I'm
Nate,
sure
my
Nate's
boyfriend
listening.
does my makeup. You know.
It's gonna be like, no. get
You
me
walk
off
by
of
Nate.
you.
You walk by Nate in the morning. He's like, no. You better go back.
Not happening.
Put
Try
the
that
47s
again.
on.
Right.
yes, yes.
That's my
yes.
girl. That's my girl.
It's funny because like with me and both of my relationships, like both of them know that I was very like into beauty and makeup and stuff. They could care less.
Yeah.
They could care less about the
Right?
process and what I'm using and stuff. There's I guess you look great. I mean, I don't know.
Right, you don't even need all of that. I'm
Right.
like,
That's always you don't need that.
right,
Ugh.
but I
Got
want
some
all of it.
insecurity issues now.
I'm like,
Right.
it is not about you.
Exactly.
It's about me. I want to wear orange lipstick for me.
This reminds me of a meme that Megan sent me this morning. I just wanted to read it because it's perfect. And
Okay.
it says, I regret teaching my boyfriend about makeup. I made a snarky comment to him, and he goes, first of all, blend your contour before you come for me like that. So that would be the downfall to that.
How funny. I know, right? Don't come for me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got ready in the dark.
Like, I feel attacked.
Right.
I
I
feel
would feel
attacked.
so attacked if my boyfriend came for me like that. Like, whoa.
Blend your contour.
I love that. That's a good one.
All right, next, would you rather go to bed with a full face of makeup or unexpectedly go swimming with a full face of makeup?
I would definitely go swimming with a full face of makeup. Sleeping in your makeup is so horrible for your skin.
Amen.
Like, horrible for your skin. And then it seeps.
And the
into your-
linens.
And thank you, Benny. That's what I was going to say. A
saying.
pillow in your
Sorry,
linens.
didn't
No
jump on
go. It's just
I don't wanna see it
so
either.
gnarly.
It's like your face is on the pillow.
Literally.
It's
Why
so
is it there?
funny how I like would intentionally, I feel like sometimes go to sleep with my makeup on because I'd be like, well, if I sleep okay enough, tomorrow if it looks all right, I won't have to do too much touching up. Maybe just
That's too much
re-ring my
thinking.
liner.
Jazz, those are the college days.
I was
Like,
gonna
when you
say
go
that
to
was like
bed-
in my prime. Yes.
when you're in college,
Well
you're
played.
like, I'm going to make
Good call.
this just last.
Good call.
Yes.
yeah.
It
Or
only
like-
works if you're drier. Like, I'm
Right.
so oily, so that I had no chance for that.
In college, I was like a pretty sleeper, so I could wake up and like it would look untouched. My friends are like, "How do you still look good?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"No."
Shantae's like, I'm just magical. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm
like,
pure
I don't
magic.
Did you say a pretty sleeper?
Yes.
That's good. All right.
Yes.
Now
Not
we'll need a
anymore.
video of Shantae sleeping.
I know,
It's
right?
just like
so
she's not a
creepy.
Super
not a
good looking
tosser or
and a
turner.
smile.
I mean,
I'm
look at
so
that.
pretty. Look at her sleeping.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so the next one. This one's a little like interesting to me, but would you rather have clear skin for life or win $5 million but have to deal with bad skin for the
Like-
rest of your life?
Bad, uncontrollable. No
Oh,
amount of product.
This
can
is
heal
a hard
that.
one. I think I would take the money because I'm so good at covering acne.
Oh,
I specialize
okay.
in acne-prone skin.
Oh,
So
okay. She's got that skill.
yes, I mean it's so tricky. Texture
Yeah.
and makeup just do not go hand in hand. I think I'd take the money. Yeah, I think I would.
I mean, is there really any like bad skin problem that couldn't be fixed with like the right dermatologist, or like is there stuff that's like, yeah, you're gonna have that for life for real?
Oh, I don't know.
Outside
I
of, like,
mean,
maybe
cystic acne?
psoriasis.
I don't know.
I'm sure we're gonna dive into skin
Okay,
later.
gotcha, right.
So I'm like, oh, this is such a loaded topic today.
Gotcha,
We have
okay.
so many details on skin.
We'll pin that. We can pin that.
Pin that for later.
Put that one down.
But yes,
there.
I'd take the money.
Would you rather cut your own bangs or scrape off your own gel manicure?
Oh, I'd rather trim my bangs. I hate taking my gel manicure off.
Oh, really?
It's
Don't
starting
do
to
it. Don't
peel
think about
already,
it.
and it's like I'm such like not like a picker, but kind of a picker. I'm like, no, it's
Once
not
one
perfect
starts,
anymore,
mhm.
right? And it's so bad to like scrape it off on your own. And it takes so much longer when you do it on yourself.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut your own bangs before?
Yes.
Recently?
Okay, so it's funny you get onto bangs because my best friend Jackie cuts and colors my hair, and I've been like wanting to go short with like a long fringe bang. I'm craving a bang, ladies.
yeah.
I had bangs for years. This forehead is like, there's a lot going on here.
That's what I do. I like to hide my forehead with
It's
my
like
bangs.
bulbousy, it like curves back, and they like burn in the sun. So I'm like, let's just like
Cover it. Let's
Cover
hide
it.
it.
let's hide it. But I can trim hair pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a major cut, though.
Oh my God, no. When I had to cut wigs on the show, I'm like, oh God, this is like Jackie had to like, this is how you cut hair real quick right before you go. I was like, whoa.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Crash course in hair cutting.
Oh, it was
Thank you.
so scary. Thank God it was wigs, right?
Would you rather accidentally burn your hair off with the curling wand or accidentally burn your hair off from chemicals?
Like bleach.
I think it's the one.
I think it sucks either way.
Right.
I mean,
Either way, you're
where are you
losing
winning
hair.
in this?
Oh man. Yeah, that's hard. Probably the wand, because if my hair is being burned off by chemicals, it's being burned off by someone else.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't know what they're doing and they're
Yeah.
burning. I see that with clients. I'm like,
Yeah.
their poor hair. It can definitely happen. God, that's hard because I don't want either of those.
I know, right?
And I feel
Ugh.
like the chemical burn might like make it so that your hair doesn't even grow back.
It's hard. It's really hard to recover from that. Like
Yeah.
drying your hair like that,
that
having
scares
it grow
me.
and get healthy. That's like, I'll take the wand.
Yeah.
I would too, because then you have a chance of maybe fixing it at some
Yeah.
point.
Well,
like,
It
with the-
burns so much of the area.
I was
It might
gonna
just
There's
be
more
one piece.
coverage.
exactly.
Right? So you
Like
have
with
to-
the wand, you're probably just worried about
It's a
that
section.
one strand. Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas with the chemical, you're probably your
Yeah.
whole hair
It's all
falls
over.
out.
Mm.
Or
You can't get it out
scratches.
fast, right?
No.
I saw a whole bunch of videos that people were doing like throughout quarantine of like at home bleaching and stuff, and then trying to like oh, it didn't lift light enough, let's do it again.
No.
And like bleaching their hair.
From our expert. No, no, no.
I'm like having
Don't
like
do
sweating
it.
right now. I'm so upset.
Like 2 to 3 times, and then having it, how it kind of gets matted, and it's just and then at the end of it, they really do end up being like, okay, well, I'm either gonna have to go and get this all cut off,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
try to deal
Do a
with
big
it. Yes, and I'm just I've had many mistakes. I've learned the hard way. I'm gonna go to professionals as far as my hair care
Do
goes.
not bleach your hair at home.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing for you.
Okay, here's another good one. Would you rather only be able to wear a neutral lip color for the rest of your life, or never be able to remove your red lip?
Oh, neutral lip. I'm such I feel 100% myself when I'm in a nude lip. Always have been.
Okay.
I love me a little color moment, but color for me, I love on the eyes versus the lip. It depends. It depends, but. Yes, I'm such a nude lip gal, so
I like
not
that.
being able to remove red lips would just
Right.
make
Yeah.
me sewing.
It doesn't go
And then,
with
like,
everything.
And then I kind of overthought it, and I was like, well, what if I could I conceal over it and then try to do
You
try to
could.
hide it and stuff? That way it's just then it would just look cakey. I
Then
feel
you're like, now I have 10 layers of
Yes,
lips.
Are your lips chapped, Jack?
Very chapped, actually. I have a permanent stain on with concealer. It's a hot mess on these lips.
That is funny. Okay, so now this next question is actually not a would you rather question, but still fun. So if you only had 4 items to pull off a sleigh, what are the 4 items you choose to use?
4 items off a sleigh. Anything in the world?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it's even you have 5 minutes to get ready, but
What are
you
the
have to look
Mhm.
good. What are the 4 things that you're I can't leave out the house without this?
Yeah.
It's like
brows.
stranded on a desert island type thing.
Yes. It's so weird. At first, I thought of my French bulldog. I was like, oh, I'd bring her on my sleigh for sure. I need Sophie. I need Sophie. She's my best half.
Absolutely.
Not like an
My
actual
bulldog.
sleigh.
Yes. She would not do well pulling it anyway. That'd be so terrible. Can you
Rephrase the
imagine
question.
that little ball? I would definitely, because usually a prime look, I'll do brows. Let's see, brow pencil, mascara, eyelash curler, lip gloss and blush. Was that 5?
That was 5.
That works
Yeah.
though. That works though.
I'll give you
okay.
the-
Covering your base.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Okay, cool.
Or you could do bronzer instead
you
of
got a
blush,
little bit
depending
of-
on your vibe.
yeah.
color.
I would always need something for my face because my face gets so pale. I'm always like, okay, let me throw something on these cheeks. That's a
Yes.
one thing for me. I'm always like, oh,
You need a little,
could pinch
color in
them.
your life. Yeah, old school. Pinch them.
Pinch my cheeks.
All right, so that was our icebreaker. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
I feel like some of these were kind of like easy. I felt like they were gonna be harder than that, but it's like some of them it was
Right.
like, no, like I think with the wand one, like the burning your hair off, like I'd rather burn just a section of my hair than like my whole head.
Yeah.
I've had that actually happen to me once when I was younger. I had this hairstyle that I would do, which it's funny thinking about it now, but you know those, what are they called? I think they're called like Hasidic Jewish people, the ones that have like
Yes.
the curly
Oh my gosh, I'm
hair-
watching
hair.
Unorthodox. It's
Okay,
crazy.
so
Yes.
they have that like style where they have like the two kind of like
Curls.
and I had in like 5th grade, I would do these like little twists on my hair.
Yes.
And then I would rubber band them here, and then I would curl what was ever like left over.
Yeah.
And it was actually like a cute look. But in order for me to get the curls to stay, I would like put a bunch of hairspray in it. Thus entering the issue of breaking off my hair. Yeah. And I just let it stay in there, a little bit too long. It was
That'll
snap.
do it.
It was snap, crackle, and pop in. And just broke off.
Crispy style.
Yep. So I had to, that was the last time I think I wore my hair like that because it was off balance at that point. It needed to grow back. Yeah. But I did that to myself. I was like 9. Who gave me a
Yes.
curling iron at 9?
Right?
I mean, I have a chemical burn story, but I don't want to tell it. But when we were talking about that one, I was like, I already know I want the curling one.
Yeah.
Because like that
Can't
is
just
the
tease
worst.
the listener.
Right?
So basically,
Yeah.
I used to
Benny.
See how easy that was?
get back in the day,
Poke, poke,
and
poke, poke.
this is really my like call to action. If you're not natural and you're still getting relaxers, go natural, ladies. Okay.
Right.
I was still getting relaxers back in like middle school, and one day I was getting a relaxer, and I was the type of person that would just let it burn. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna like wait it out because I need my hair to get real
I'm
straight.
tough. I
Yeah.
can do it.
Well, it bit me in the butt because I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, like it's burning. I kind of need it to come off now. And she's like, all right, let's go. And her daughter comes up to the front of the salon and is like, Mom, the water's turned off. And I was like, what?
Panic.
That is
Oh my
horrifying.
gosh. When I tell you guys I've never been through anything this traumatic before, like I was like, we had to like change locations, but on the way there, I'm just crying. Like, Mom, it hurts so bad. I think all my hair is gonna fall out. Like it was so
poor
bad. And
thing.
she's like crying with me because she's like, I'm sorry. baby.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
you're
sorry." And I'm
helpless.
like,
your pain.
like, do we have water in the car? Is
Right.
there anything that we can do right now?
I would've
I grabbed the
God.
water out of the toilet.
I was gonna say I would dipped my head in the
I'm gonna hold your
toilet.
legs, girl. We're gonna dunk you. We're gonna
Yes.
dunk
Give me a
you.
swirly.
Yes.
What
Why
can
not?
we do? But
Desperate
yeah.
times call
Oh.
for desperate
Absolutely.
Yeah,
measures.
that was
Man.
probably the worst thing I've ever been
Oh,
through. But like,
no.
yeah, I am
That
like,
pain, I can't even imagine.
Oh my
And it's
gosh.
it was out of your control.
Yeah.
It was out of their
their
control.
control. Like, nobody knew, and
Yeah.
I was
man.
just like, panicked.
Okay, now
So-
what's your horror hair story, Kendra?
Right.
It's your turn.
Oh man. I don't know if I have any.
You do. You're thinking.
I
You're
know. I'm
I'm
searching.
trying to think about like the sun in days when we'd put like sun in her hair and it would turn her hair like orange, or when my mom tried to box dye my hair. No, I do have one.
There we go.
I
Told ya.
know. 7th
Ding, ding,
grade
ding.
wanted highlights so bad. I was like so in love with Mary Kate and Ashley. I was like,
Yes.
I need these low light moments,
Yes.
right? They literally turned me like Shantae's hair color, but with a purple tone under fluorescence. And I'm blonde, you guys.
Yeah.
So it went from like, I looked in the mirror and I was horrified. She's like, it will lighten when you shampoo. And I was like, not at all what I showed you. This is like pretty much brunette black with a purple undertone to it.
Right.
And I wanted like honey blonde moments
Yeah, that's
here.
I'm like that. Thinking
That's
of
like
Mary
the
Kate and
exact-
Ashley and how their hair looked
When they
that
were
doesn't
younger.
make sense.
That's the
No,
exact
it was
opposite.
horrifying. And so that's how I ended up finding like my colorist who had done my mom and I's hair for like 15 years. Horrifying like Jean Rez moment, but she saved my hair because my mom was supposed to go on a business trip. I'm like, I cannot go to school like this.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, Mom, help me.
you're gonna literally
Right.
not recognize me. Like, I looked like a different person. And my hair is naturally pretty dark.
Oh my
But
god.
it was so scary.
I
Because that
bet.
takes so like when you
Yeah.
are blonde and you go that dark,
Yeah.
like to get back
Right.
takes a long time. Because like what
Don't you
you're
have to like
saying,
strip it or something, or no?
pretty much, but you can't like what we were saying with bleaching at home. You can't just keep lightening your
Overprocess-
hair like that.
yeah.
It's over processed. So
Yeah.
that was
You
my
had to give
one
it some time.
traumatizing experience.
At least it was, you got it out of the way then.
Yes.
You know? And
No more.
do you still go to that same stylist that fixed your
Yeah,
hair?
I bounce back and forth. It's so nice. Like, my best friend does hair. And during, like, it's like,
Easy. Yep.
yeah.
Hey,
It's quality
hey, you wanna
time.
come
Get my
over?
hair
right. When you
done.
come
Yeah.
over today, can you bring your shears too? Because I need a trim. So,
That's someone you have to keep in your pocket.
right.
Right? Jackie's
Can't-
good.
yeah,
She's
you
my
can't
lead
lose- you
hairstylist,
can't lose that
so
person.
Love her. Yeah.
Alrighty, so we are going to jump into a quick 2 to 3 minute break before we dive into some more of this clean versus conscious beauty talk. So stay tuned, you guys. You are listening to The Way with Jazz and Tay. Hey, welcome back to The Way with Jazz and Tay. Before the break, we did a quick intro of our guest, Kendra, and we also played a fun Would You Rather. During the break, we had a fun conversation about crazy hair stories and surprisingly even Chris Brown, but we're not going to dive into that. Both Kendra and I love Chris Brown very secretly, but just made that announcement.
Everyone was like,
so
I don't know how
secret
now
secret it
everyone
is.
knows.
Secret
Yes,
no
you
more.
outed us. Damn it.
Secret no more.
If I'm going down, I'm going to take you with me.
It's okay. I'll go with you, girl.
All right, so now we're going to get into our interview of the week with Kendra. So we are going to discuss kind of your journey to conscious clean beauty, clean versus conscious, all that kind of stuff. We're going to pick your brain. We're even going to talk about Ashley Graham and that beauty star stuff because
Yeah.
I want to know all about that.
Yeah, like,
so
what is she like?
Tay, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. So, let's just start with where your conscious beauty journey started. I know earlier when we introduced you, we talked a little bit about the endometriosis, and I feel like a lot of people go through something kind of I want to say traumatic,
Yeah.
but they find something out with their health, and that kind of
Yeah.
leads to this. So, on a larger scale, is that the reason that you came into this conscious beauty industry, or was it just completely separate?
No, I mean, that's entirely true. We had been on the fence about endometriosis for me for years. My grandma had it, so you're 90% likely to have it. A family member does.
Okay.
There wasn't as much knowledge as there is now about endo. So my health just started declining. It was actually right after the show. I don't know if it was the stress from the show that just really triggered it.
Yeah.
Endometriosis affects your entire body. So it's an intense inflammatory disease. So the stress, I think, from the show just kind of triggered it. So we were I was trying everything. I was working with a hormone coach to help me. Maybe it was just my hormones were imbalanced.
Right.
And she was the one that she was like, well, have you looked into, I mean, it's not if I wear L'Oreal mascara, I'm not going to die. It's
Right,
not
right,
going
right,
to
right.
exasperate, make it so much worse for my endo. But looking into, I mean, I've been in the cosmetic industry for 15 years now.
Wow.
And so I'm wearing that on my face every single day when I
Right.
worked at MAC as well. I cut back on, it's just a chef when they go
Of
home.
course,
They
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
do a ton of makeup
Yeah.
or cook. So it's kind of similar for me. So I just started looking into ingredients, and I'd kind of known about the green space a little bit. It was nowhere near where it is now. I never would have been able to make this transition maybe
Yeah.
7 years ago. I would have had to sacrifice texture.
Even 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Longevity,
Wow.
color. Color's a big thing for me. I'm are there color options for every skin tone, which is so important for me.
Yeah.
And it took me about 7 months of testing. It's when you're a makeup artist, products
Right.
are all kind of very similar in how they, respond to the skin. And so it's just basically trial and error. So I just started looking into more ingredients and researching more brands. And I was like, cool, I think I can do this. And I
Yeah.
switched my kit fully over.
Did you do it overnight? Was it a trash everything and then, or was it kind of a slow process?
It was a slow process. And then once brands started sending me product, that was a lot easier
Oh,
to
yeah,
transition
right.
over. Kosas was like, we're going to send you our whole line. I'm like, oh, this is
Please
amazing.
do, yeah.
That's when I started able to really switch over. Because it's not I didn't feel comfortable using MAC and all the brands I used to love
Yeah.
on my clients if I wasn't using it on myself.
True. Yeah.
And
was
I
gonna
think
ask.
it's you're so right, Shantae. When you're have an inflammatory disease, it's you don't want to aggravate it.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Whatever you can do to
Yeah.
try to minimize, and it's all about balance in the
Yeah.
end. But it was a health scare. So
Yeah.
Right. And how long ago was that you kind of made that transition?
It's been 2 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and the green space has changed a lot. Just in the
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's funny that you say that just because, like, you know, even thinking about how you were saying, like, even just 7 years ago, it was kind of hard to find, like, a range or variety of stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
remember for me in high school, there was a PCC across the street from my school.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time that I would see, like, makeup products and stuff that were clean and stuff was in their, like, beauty
Yes.
section. They had a whole bunch of, like, different stuff. And for me, I was always kind of like, you know, I'm always into makeup, so I was always like, ooh, yay, but it was so expensive.
So expensive.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm never like this. I'll never be able to do this or whatever
Yeah.
because it's going to break me. Like I'm going to go broke trying to buy this stuff. But again, that was in like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
You know, that was in high school for me. So hearing just that makes me feel much more better and excited about it. I was like, I might
Right?
not break the bank making this transition.
Yeah, I mean, it was a worry for me because it's definitely more it costs a little bit
Yeah.
more. And I was like, are these indie brands going to have pro programs? Like Mac, you get like 40% off to like stack your kit. And so the majority, I just went through and I emailed like 20, 30 brands and the majority of them all do. So I was like, okay, this is way more like achievable for me now to like switch over as well, which was a big factor because cost. Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you think that's a common misconception about
Talk
conscious
about
beauty?
Yeah, talk about
Is
that.
the cost?
Yeah, and I think that's where the space has a lot of growth because when it comes to inclusivity, that's a huge part of it. And that's anything with holistic.
Yeah.
Insurance doesn't cover holistic alternatives. So you're paying like a naturopath doctor is like average at least $300 an hour. Like who
Right.
can afford that?
Just for more natural care.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So it's really hard. There's some great brands. Like I never would have been able to do all the color I do without like C'est Moi Beauty. Which is funny because Nate showed me C'est Moi.
Your boyfriend,
Yes,
Nate, the makeup
see,
expert.
The makeup expert. He loves Liza, and we love Liza, and so she's their like spokesperson
Yeah.
for the brand. And C'est
I
Moi
think we need to bring Nate on the show.
Right. Yeah.
Nate,
Nate's the goat.
you have a seat. You have a seat, Nate.
Yes. So they're more like their target demographic is definitely more teens, but their color crayons, like their makeup is fire. Like I use it on shoots and editorial, and it's super cost effective. Like you can get like a crayon for like $9.99 at
Yeah.
Target, which is
I love that.
it's
Which-
starting to happen.
Now that I think about it, makes sense because like, aren't MAC lipsticks like $17? Aren't they
Yes.
like, you know? And
Yes.
$17 towards like, you know, a couple of those lip crayons or whatever could make a big difference, you know?
Yeah,
Okay. Like I'm
for
over here
sure.
plotting. I've got a whole bunch of like makeup stuff that I told myself I'm not buying any new makeup unless I use up like what I have.
Yes,
Like, I'm
and that's what
forcing
you should
myself
do.
to. And then like I just ran out of moisturizer, so I'm like, okay, now this is where I'm gonna try to find something clean or conscious to use
Yeah.
now that I'm totally out of it. So
That's what I recommend. It can be so overwhelming. You just want to like gut everything and
Yes.
start over. But I'm like, use what you have. It's fine. And just slowly transition if you want to. Yeah.
To touch a little bit more on your endometriosis journey, you know, you did have surgery recently.
Yes.
Glad that everything went well and that you're up and at 'em. I remember seeing that on Instagram and I was like, what is going on? It's like, is she okay? But I understand now. It all makes sense. So kind of like talk about that journey. Why the like surgery for the endometriosis and kind of like how was it actually really affecting you on a day-to-day basis, like living with that and dealing with that?
Yeah. I mean, endo is such a wild beast because it affects everyone very differently. And it takes an average of 10 years for women to get diagnosed.
Really?
OBGYNs have no idea what endometriosis is the majority of the time. Like, and it's really hard to find specialists. I'm like, you
I'm
are a
so
female
upset.
doctor.
That's
Why do you
right.
not know about female disease?
I
You
just
know?
feel like all doctors are like, maybe try this, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I naturally have mistrust in medical professionals just because of my experience with endo. I've just been put on birth control, or when I was 21, they're like, you have diverticulitis. And I'm like,
At 21?
That's a hard to know. So, but I mean, everyday life, like I said, it affects everyone different. I think when I started seeing, the period pain,
Yeah.
it's like laboring, but more
Yeah.
intensely. Like you're blacking out, you've
Oh my
broken out, cold sweats. Like I'm not going to go into all the
Right.
gory details.
Yeah.
But it was like horrifying. I had to plan my life around it. And then when your body is just constantly in that kind of stress and pain, it just causes more chronic inflammation everywhere. So basically, if you guys don't know what endometriosis is, it's similar lining to your uterine lining that grows outside of your body. So when you have a period, it bleeds like your period, but it has nowhere to go. So it's just living in that bod.
No.
And it can grow all the way up into your lungs.
Oh my God.
Girls can get nosebleeds. I was fortunate that I'm considered stage 2, where it kind of just, it was in the outlining tissue of like that whole area. And then I had adenomyosis, which that's hard. Like endo, you can remove. So it's called, the gold standard for it is excision surgery.
Okay.
And honestly, you want to get it when you're a young girl.
Okay.
Because that is
you can
kind of
heal.
like setting you up for success. But it goes misdiagnosed
Right.
for so long.
Yeah.
So like your health just progressively, for me, it was just getting worse. And it was, now I have like such intense like dietary restrictions, like digestion is so hard, and mental health, like anxiety. I don't suffer really from depression, but that's really common. Sleep, it's just like such a beast to deal with. So excision surgery is gold standard, where you remove the endo lesions. But for me, I also had adenomyosis. So that's where it is literally in the muscle of your uterus. You can't remove it. You can't
Yeah.
biopsy it. It creates its own like blood pools. It thickens the lining. The only way to cure it is through a hysterectomy. And so that was part of my surgery. I had the endo and the hysterectomy as well. We're not going to have kids, I don't think. And you know, there's other ways to start a family.
Yeah,
you know, and
absolutely.
pain. It's such a hot topic, talking about hysterectomies as
Yeah,
a woman,
I
especially
was
at
like,
my age.
oh my gosh, how do you feel about like having just shared all
Yeah.
podcast? I was like, oh my God.
It's important for girls to know. It's like,
Yeah.
there's just so much little information about endo.
I mean, and at the end of the day, why sacrifice, you know, your health and the
Yeah.
health of your body to preserve something like that that is only a potential, or like, you know, just
Exactly.
yeah, no.
And I
for-
definitely,
And for partners too, to understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that's the age.
You know, Nate sounds
demographic.
like a goat, so
yeah. So it's, I mean, you don't want to. I tried every natural
Of course.
alternative
Yeah.
before surgery, and then it just got to the point I'm like, I need surgery.
Yeah.
I've tried everything: diet, exercise, supplementation, like birth control, like everything.
you name it, yeah.
I'm like, I'm 33. This girl's got to live pain free. You know, like it's time. So,
That was a good jingle, by the way.
so
I
it
missed
was
it. What was
Pain
it?
free since 33.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Keep going.
See,
I
Betty,
was like, what was it?
Sorry.
yeah.
My bad.
I was like, yeah.
I went there.
that.
But I went
I
there.
like it.
Sorry.
So how
No,
have
it's
you
okay.
how have you been feeling the last, you know, month or so since? Like, what have you noticed a big difference, or what's the recovery been like?
The recovery is more challenge. It's so naive. I think I was so focused on being pain free.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
when you have like the majority of your lady bits removed, like hormones and things like that are gonna take time to adjust.
Okay.
I was lucky to still keep my ovaries.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they're like sleeping, they're dormant, so they're not producing hormones. So I'm like experiencing a temporary little mini menopause. Which
Gotcha.
is like, it's so
Interesting.
wild.
Interesting.
But I'm pain, like, I don't have the
Right.
adenomyosis
Exactly.
anymore. So
Right.
it's just going to take my body, and I'm such a busy bee. So it's like, all right, let's get this going. But it's going to take my body a while to
fully like adjust.
fully adjust. So it's a process.
That's incredible.
But I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, no, that's actually very interesting, because I didn't understand or realize that endometriosis was something that hasn't necessarily been like explored, or that, you know, the misdiagnosis, because I feel like I've only really heard about it, you know, being talked about in the medical field maybe the last like few years. It wasn't
Yeah.
something that I feel like, you know, oh, endometriosis this, endometriosis that, and then coming to find out that more and more people actually really do deal with that and suffer from that. Yeah.
Like 1 in 10 women.
Yeah. Oh.
It's crazy.
It
Yeah.
makes me wonder, like, I don't still have any issues like that, but I used to have really, really bad, like, period cramps when I was younger and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like dizzying and all that, nausea. And I was like, is that something that, like, was that like the beginning
Is
of
that
something?
normal?
Like,
I
right,
thought
is that
everybody's
normal?
was like
Yes,
that.
No,
is.
yeah, it's not normal.
I'm like,
At
should I
least
be
get it
dizzy?
checked. Right. Oh, yeah, it's
Like,
hard.
When I hear people, they're like, "Oh yeah, like it's light, it's whatever," and then I go about my week. I'm like, "What?
Yours is light?
I'm out."
Excuse
Right?
me.
I was always out for the first 3 days at
Yeah.
least, and like bedridden now.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes over your life.
Yeah,
for
like
that
I'd have
much
to like
pain.
get out of school and stuff.
Being a woman is really easy, you guys.
Right, you
Right.
know, it's a walk in the
So
park.
easy.
So easy.
I want to say first and foremost, thank you for sharing that story. That was extremely powerful, way more than I thought we were gonna get. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But let's kind of shift it before we go into another break and then come back, obviously. But what has been the evolution of non-toxic beauty? I feel like we kind of talked about it in the beginning, but really, like, do you know who kicked it off? But like, how did it all get started? Was it like one day somebody was like, you know what, we need clean products, or or
like
was it
somebody decided to probably become like a champion of it, or like influencer type or something? Like,
Has it always
Juice
been
Beauty
here?
has definitely been one of like
Juice Beauty?
Yes.
Juice Beauty.
They're
okay.
more skincare focused. They do have some excellent makeup products as well. I love Juice Beauty, but they are like the OG for clean skincare. And it's hard because you had brands like Origins that or Aveda that claim to be very more non-toxic, and it's what we call greenwashing, where it's really not. So
They say one thing, but then you read the ingredients and it's really another thing.
yeah. And my mom was a product developer for Garden Botanica. It was like a more natural-esque line, like in the 90s. So she has been like a wealth of knowledge ingredient-wise, because you know so much about ingredients.
Yeah.
So we always have had that conversation in ingredients, and she always tried to pick better, more conscious ingredients back in her GB days. But it's definitely, like what you're saying, it's evolved so much. It was more like, like not good color payoff,
like
kind of like dusty, just like
That's the one thing. A lot of it was like powdered stuff, and not very good coverage. And like touching on that same kind of like transition of non-toxic, the color palettes and stuff. Like, what did like finding good pigments and stuff for your bright, colorful looks. Like, that's one thing that I noticed across the board. Even now, as I'm looking at more clean brands, I don't see a lot of palettes that have bold and bright colors. I see a lot of like nudes or like shimmer pinks. I see a lot of like rosy pinks, kind of like. But I'm really new. So I'm probably not looking at like a lot of the right places. But
it's hard to find, and you want to. I mean, I went on Target the other day and I was looking at their clean. I'm like, you said Elf is like a clean brand. Elf isn't a clean brand. Or like NYX. Like, those are clean brands.
Even I know that. I know that.
But maybe some person wouldn't, Some consumer could be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to take it. That's why
because Target
clean beauty is such a hard topic.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Okay, sorry. One thing I do want to ask too is like, because both of us, like, I have eczema, Shantae suffers from psoriasis. We both suffer from chronic skin.
Girl, I'm living with psoriasis.
Right.
So
skin stuff's hard.
And kind of like, especially now, and I was talking about I'm out of moisturizer. What would you recommend for someone who does have sensitive skin and who gets frequent eczema breakouts like on their face and skin, and also for someone maybe with psoriasis?
Yeah, Tower 28 is actually a really killer line. They are recognized by the Eczema Association.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Tower 28.
Yeah, get their SOS spray.
Okay.
So their whole line is made for sensitive skin. Even if you have like rosacea, if you're acne prone, like their SOS spray is just killer. It just totally calms angry skin.
Okay.
So I really love Tower 28 is great. Woleda's a really great brand too. I have used that for more like eczema prone skin.
Olay?
Woleda.
Woleda. Okay, I was like, Olay? I didn't think that you would say that. I was like,
right? You're like, no.
One more time, spell it for me.
Weleda. Woleda's good. And it's hard. I mean, like my mom has rosacea, so a lot like Juice Beauty, things with like intense essential oils, not your vibe.
Okay.
And a lot of it's trial and error.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people have coconut allergies, which can be really tricky when you're looking into more non-toxic, because that is a common ingredient, coconut oil, coconut butter. So, but if you're like Tower 28 SOS spray, for sure must try. And they're like cheek. Oh my gosh. It's just that whole brand. I love.
No, I'm excited.
It's actually really awesome.
I'm gonna go definitely like check that out after we get off here, because I'm ready to like start transitioning as far as that goes. Because my face has been so dry lately because of wearing the masks, and like I've got eczema patches on my cheeks because of all of that. Never before has it been this bad.
I know, and it's really hard. Like honestly, like your skin is so related to gut health. Like whatever, there's something going on internally when you're starting to see it surface on the skin. That was another thing. I was like, I've never had acne in my entire life, but now I'm in my 30s. I'm like, cystic, like hormonal, like a lot of it for me was because of endo. I have so much inflammation on the inside of my body. My skin is like just starting to show that. So cleaning up the
All
gut.
right, so let me change my diet too. Okay.
Clean eating.
It's funny because it's like I've been knowing this, and like when we've had our first kind of like conversation about it, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll change my diet. No, haven't really, but it does make, I understand that how that makes a huge difference.
Just healing the gut, honestly, like taking a little break from like processed foods and just trying to give the gut a little bit of a break. I mean, it's connected to everything, our hormones, like mental health, like all of that, but it's so much work.
Amen.
It really
Amen.
is.
An American lifestyle is not very.
It's so hard, right?
It's so hard. Love me a burger, love me fry.
Right.
Like,
Same.
oh,
I'm a burger junkie.
oh, I love burgers, Jazz. They're my favorite.
On the topic of skin, earlier I had asked, is it true that like if you have bad skin that you can have bad skin for life? Or is, I mean, you did say gut health will help you with that, but it's like, is there a way to kind of like make sure outside of gut health that you could make sure that like your skin is better?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like it's a whole package. Like people are like, drink water to help acne. I'm like, well, that's like, yeah, drinking water is
That's
great,
the
but it's
basic,
not going
right.
to solve your acne problems, you know?
Right.
But there's like, for me, like I do great skincare. I try to eat as clean as I can, but because of like my issues with my skin, like I need some more like medical service. Like I had microneedling done yesterday that helps with like scarring and helps with like collagen production. Like there are other things you can do. Sometimes skincare is just not enough. But checking with dermatologists, trying to find a system that works. I don't think anybody ever should have to suffer from skin stuff long term. There's definitely always something you can do to help improve it, for sure.
Absolutely. Do we want to jump into a quick 2 to 3 minute break so that we can come back?
Yes, because I don't want to like go short us on time with some of the other stuff that we want to talk about.
Absolutely. All right, so stay tuned. You guys are listening to The Way with Jazz and Tay. Hey, welcome back to The Way with Jazz and Tay. Before the break, we talked to Kendra about conscious beauty and how she started her journey, as well as talked to her about endometriosis and how that's affected her life and kind of helped her to start the journey towards conscious beauty. But now we want to talk to her a little bit more about inclusivity and brands for darker skin tones, as well as some Black-owned brands in the space. But first, I'd really like to know, like, what is this controversy around the term clean beauty? Like, what is it? Clean versus conscious? Like, where did that come from? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something, I feel like the pandemic obviously has changed so much, but it has definitely affected, I think, the green space in a not so fun way.
Yeah.
Clean beauty is really hard because people, I feel like there's always going to be a clash with conventional and holistic, whether it's food or treatments. It's kind of always been head to head, but clean beauty is hard because it's not regulated technically. So it's like anybody can say, like what we were talking about, like the Target, like saying e.l.f. is clean.
Understood.
Like there's no real specific guideline
Or like
to
an approval process.
Like with organic, they have that stamp.
Yeah,
There's
like
nothing
USDA
that,
organic.
Like, yes.
Like Juice Beauty has the stamp for a lot of their products. So it's really, you're having to weed out so many different products and false claims.
Yeah.
So people are like, yeah, clean beauty is great, but is it even as effective? I mean, I can't tell you how many skincare brands I have been sent to me and I try, I'm like, this isn't doing anything. So there's like, you want to look for like people doing clinical trials, like Juice Beauty does clinical trials. SOS, the SOS spray, like they have so many testimonials from people who suffer from eczema and all of that. So you really just want to look into, and if you have questions, like ask the brand.
Yeah.
Like where are your ingredients sourced from? Like just because it's natural doesn't mean it's better or more sustainable.
Understood.
Right.
You know, like palm oil or talc is a really big one because it can be traced with asbestos. It's very expensive to test. So it's not even just about, it's about even if you use these ingredients, have them be safer for us. So like here, Weiss is a great example of this. She is a non-toxic line, which I love. She's a makeup artist. But they use talc in their products, but it goes through a really intense screening process versus like MAC that uses talc.
And it's like,
Are you
may
testing
or may not
for
be.
it?
Yeah.
May or may not. Like you can reach out to I've always been curious. I'm like, I want to reach out to like 15 conventional brands that use talc and be like, do you test? And I just am curious to see what they say, because I'm fine with it if it's safe.
Yeah.
So it's all about the clean beauty space. Just also kind of what we were talking about with inclusivity. Like, it can be expensive. As far as shade range, it's a huge issue.
Yeah.
I think I was always spoiled and slightly naive because I worked at MAC.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah.
that's the most inclusive brand you can get.
Yeah.
All races, all sexes, all ages, like anyone and everyone has always been welcomed there.
Yeah.
They always had shades for everyone.
Yeah.
It was literally, even for me, I'm fair, but every line is pink, and I'm very yellow. Like,
That's
my
a good
dad's part
point.
Cuban,
Yeah.
so it's like I've got some yellow in my skin. So MAC was literally the only thing for me that would match my skin.
Right.
So I was so spoiled in that sense, because when you work for an artistry line like that,
Yeah.
it's totally different. And so the cost, shade range. I mean, Kosas, there are some great brands and a lot of amazing Black-owned conscious brands. And so on top of that, it's gotten tricky. Like, I remember seeing a post on Instagram. It was like, if you're into clean beauty, you don't wear masks. And I was like, what?
What?
I was like,
Hold
what is
on.
this? I was like, what is
Explain.
happening right now? It was, and I don't follow, like, I follow a lot of friends who are makeup artists, but I don't follow like every conscious beauty brand. So I was kind of in a naive bubble. I was like, what is this? What's going on? And then some of my closer friends that are have been in the clean beauty, conscious beauty space longer than me, they're like, hey, this is like what's happening with like a lot of it with QAnon and conspiracy theory.
QAnon. Jeez.
And that is something I do not want to be
Connected to.
with.
No,
I was like,
not at
I
all.
believe in science.
Right.
Like,
It's
yes,
so crazy how they can make that jump from, like, you know, the anti-maskers. Oh, if you're into clean beauty, you can't, like, how do they make that
make it
jump?
go together.
What?
crazy. And then, I mean, a lot of these brands it's fear mongering. That's
Yes.
another thing.
It's
that's
all
really
fear-based.
big.
Yep.
Like, if you use this, you're gonna get so ill. Like, these are so bad for you. Like, yeah, over time. And it's about balance. I think when I first got into the space, I was like so overwhelmed by all of the knowledge. I was like, no, I can't use that. But now as like you come more into it, it's about lifestyle and balance with everything. Like, again, like I said, that L'Oreal mascara is not going to aggravate my illness.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's
right.
not going to kill you. People literally on Instagram are like, if you drink tap water, you will die. I'm like,
Oh, really?
that's a little
Okay.
aggressive. Like, so it's
where
just
are
like
you-
fear mongering from brands is a
Yeah.
big issue for people. And a lot of people too, when they started seeing people about like anti-vaxxing and saying COVID isn't real, that they're like, why am I trusting this person to help me with my health when it's such a polar opposite belief?
Right.
So it's been really challenging for the green space, I feel like, this past year. And just,
yeah.
I mean, you got to do what's best for you in the long
Exactly.
haul. Like, no one's
Exactly.
forcing you to do anything. Do your own research. Follow the brands you connect with. Same with like influencers. Like, if you connect with that influencer, then no one's forcing you to folou people.
Right.
You know? So it's having a moment. It has a lot of room for growth, for sure.
Do you know about Juvia's Place? Is that a clean Black-owned beauty brand?
Ooh, I'd have to look into it.
Okay. 'Cause
Um,
I really like found that I love their line.
Yeah.
Because it does cater to those that are like brown skin and stuff. But I don't know if I'm like, is it worth buying more of this line if it's not actually like, you know, conscious or
Yeah. It was really crazy because I researched clean beauty brands for months. The algorithm never showed me any of these Black-owned brands, and I was pissed.
Probably intentionally.
It's totally crazy. I was like, why? These are amazing brands. Like, Range Beauty is one of my favorites.
Writing that down.
Oh, they're in Target now. Range Beauty and Mented are also in Target, which is
Oh,
amazing.
I know of Mented.
Ugh.
Yes.
Mented,
yes.
when I was like, amazing. I don't have to mix colors to make lipsticks and lip liners like match for my darker clients, because I'm a makeup artist, so it's easier for me. I can mix and concoct and
Yes.
make concoctions for everybody. And Range Beauty, like, they have a super dark transparent powder. Not rocket science.
Yeah.
I needed it for my kit, and I
Yeah.
can use it on for bronzer for like my lighter clients. You know, so like they're really great. Black and Green is kind of like a full lane but Black-owned business.
Okay.
So Black and Green, all conscious brands that are all owned by either Black women. My friend Tony in Boston, his Creo skincare, every ingredient is like from Sierra Leone. Like, his skincare is killer. He does a lot of CBD oils, and he'll send me product and we test and chat. And He's got amazing skincare, and he just started this past year and a half. So it's been so great to see him grow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's had skin issues and started his own skincare line. So there's so many great Black-owned brands, and we need more of that. We need shades for everyone.
Right.
Makeup artists, you need to know how to do makeup for all skin types.
Alrighty, well, Kendra, thank you so much for coming by today. We had an amazing episode.
Yes.
So fun.
Yeah, we took a lot away from this conversation. Before we close out, really quick, plug yourself so that the people can find you.
Oh, yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's kendra.lspringer. Yeah, come follow for tutorials, product stuff, questions, shade matching. I love it all. I'm here to help.
Awesome. Well, this whole conversation was definitely the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We've got a man coming in.
Break it up.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye. Thanks.
As always, thank you so much for tuning into The Way. Catch you next week, same time, same place. Follow us on Instagram at The Way Jazz and Tay and on Twitter at The Way JT.
Don't be afraid to DM us if you have any questions or suggestions about the show. Until next time, bye.
Peace.